Arav had always been the perfect son. Straight A student, never broke a rule, and carried his parents' dreams on his shoulders like an unshakable burden. His father, a retired government officer, had sacrificed his ambitions so Arav could become a doctor. His mother spent nights awake, praying for his success. Failure was never an option. But Arav had a secret. He hated medicine. He wanted to be a musician. His soul resonated with melodies. His fingers found solace on the piano keys, and his heart thrived in composing music. But his father's stern voice echoed in his mind every time he dared to dream. Music won't put food on the table. So he buried his passion and walked the path carved for him. Years passed, and Arav became Dr. Arav Mehta, a respected name in the medical field, yet an empty shell of a man. Every day at the hospital felt like a slow death. The sight of patients, the smell of antiseptic, it suffocated him. But he smiled, wore the white coat, and did his duty. Then, one evening, he met Mira. She was a cancer patient in her mid-30s, but she radiated life like a star. She played the violin in the hospital garden, her frail fingers dancing over the strings, her soul pouring into the music. She noticed Arav watching her one day and smiled. "You look like someone who forgot how to breathe," she said. Arav chuckled, but her words stayed with him. Over time, he visited Mira often, drawn to her wisdom and unbreakable spirit. One night, under the dim hospital lights, he confessed his secret. "I wanted to be a musician," Mira sighed. "Then why didn't you?" "My parents. Their dreams, their sacrifices, I couldn't betray them." Mira nodded. "I get it, but Arav, life isn't about living for others' expectations. It's about finding your own music." Arav dismissed her words at first, but the thought gnawed at him. Days turned to weeks, and Mira's condition worsened. One night, she pressed a letter into his hands. "Open it after I'm gone." A week later, Mira took her last breath. With a heavy heart, Arav opened the letter. It was simple yet profound. "Regret is the heaviest burden, Arav. Don't let it crush you. Play your music before it's too late." For the first time in years, Arav sat before a piano. His fingers trembled, but as the first note rang out, something in him awakened. That night, he played for hours, tears streaming down his face. He resigned the next morning. His parents were devastated. "You're throwing away everything," his father yelled. "I already did," Arav whispered, "when I chose your dreams over mine." Years later, Dr. Arav Mehta became something else. Arav, the musician. His songs touched millions. His melodies healed souls. His father never spoke to him again, but his mother secretly listened to his songs, pride glistening in her eyes. Mira had been right. Regret was the heaviest burden, and he had finally let it go. How often do we silence our own dreams for the sake of others? We convince ourselves that duty outweighs desire, that sacrifice is love. But what is love if it costs us our own happiness? Arav's story isn't just his, it's ours. We grow up believing that following a set path will lead to fulfillment. But what if that path is not meant for us? What if, in trying to make others proud, we lose ourselves? Mira's words hold a truth we often ignore. Regret is heavier than failure. We can recover from failure. We can learn, start over, rebuild. But regret? It lingers, whispering in the quiet corners of our mind, reminding us of the life we could have lived. So here's the question. Are you living your truth? Or are you carrying someone else's dreams on your back, hoping they will bring you happiness? Take a moment. Listen to the music inside you. If there's a passion you've buried, a dream you've neglected, ask yourself, will you wait until it's too late? Because the saddest stories are not those of failure, but of dreams never pursued.